Hello, welcome to this video. In the last video, we talked about what an informational text is and mentioned two characteristics that informational texts have. Let's revisit all the features. They are written cues, graphics or illustrations, and organizational structure. In this video, we will focus on organizational structure. Moreover, as a reader, we need to learn how to use the features of an informational text to predict what we are going to read. Once again, before we start, take this time to pause the video and get your English textbook ready. Then, turn to page 98. Now we are going to read the article and find out the organizational structures of the writing. But before that, I would like you to skim this page. Think to yourself, what information can you find in the text? For sure, you will immediately look at the heading. The heading is composed of one word or short phrases, like this one you see now. Colorful corals. It's the simplest description of what the passage is about. According to the topic, we know that the article is about corals. Look at the subheadings. They are the descriptions of what the paragraphs are about. According to the subheadings, we know that this paragraph is about what corals eat. This one is about what creatures we can find around the corals. And from this paragraph, the author tells us why we need to save the coral reefs. Now, let's go back to the organizational structure. Each paragraph's got a main idea. The main idea, like its name suggests, it expresses the most general idea that the writer wants the reader to take away. Main ideas are always stated in complete sentences. We are going to find the main ideas of each paragraph. Let's take this paragraph as an example. Listen and read this paragraph.
Track B10, Activity 14. Listen and read. Colourful corals. When you first see corals, you may think you are looking at a colourful underwater garden. But corals are animals, not plants. Corals are made up of small individual animals called polyps. Polyps have soft, transparent bodies with no bones inside.
We can see that the heading of the article is Colorful Corals. One helpful clue is that animals or corals is repeated in almost every sentence throughout the paragraph. So what is the general idea being said about corals? Corals are animals, not plants. This is stated in the middle of the paragraph, and it is shown in other places throughout the paragraph. Oftentimes, the main idea is stated in the first sentence, but the main idea can also be found in the middle or in the last part of the paragraph as well, like it was in this paragraph. Now it's your turn to practice. Read this paragraph, but before we walk through it together, I want you to pause the video and practice identifying the main idea on your own.
What's for dinner? Polyps have a mouth, stomach, and tentacles to catch food. How polyps get food depends on where they live. Polyps lucky enough to live in warm, sunlit zones eat tiny plants called algae. In contrast, polyps that live in cold, dark zones don't eat algae. They must find a place to live with a strong current of moving water. They use their tentacles to catch tiny animals called plankton in the water.
Take this time to pause the video and look for the main idea on your own. We can see that the subheading is "What's for dinner?" So we know that the topic of this paragraph is what corals eat and how they find food. If you said any of these, you are correct. Now, let's look for the main idea. What is being said about what corals eat and how they find food? Let's take a look. Every sentence talks about how polyps get food. And what corals eat. In this paragraph, the main idea is stated in the middle and the last parts of the paragraph. You guys are doing great, so let's try another one.
Underwater communities. Most corals live together in huge groups called colonies. Some build a protective skeleton around themselves. As old generations die and new ones grow on top, polyps slowly build up coral reefs. Some are millions of years old. These beautiful reefs are home to more than 4,000 kinds of fish and thousands of other organisms.
Pause the video and look for the main idea by yourself. We know that the topic of this paragraph is underwater communities. Community means living things living in one particular area together. Ask yourself what is the main things that is being said about the topic underwater communities? Apart from corals, any other animals have been mentioned? Every sentence talks about the living things that live together, and when we get to the very last sentence, it puts it very simply. These beautiful reefs are home to more than 4,000 kinds of fish and thousands of other organisms. This sentence makes a main point about the topic, community. At the end, let's have a summary. An informational text contains a number of features that make it easier for readers to understand the text. In the last video, we learned the first two characteristics that informational texts have. In this video, we have talked about the last feature and how to use all the features to help us predict what we will read. I hope this video is helpful. See you next time. Bye bye.